Hello and welcome to another episode of Jam in the Print Room. I'm Andy McGuinness from Cedo Large Format Solutions. I'm joined by the industry's Mr. Nice Guys, Jack Gocher from Ion Display and Matt Hanley from M2 Search. How are you two,
Hello.
gents? You all right?
Good. I'm good, thank
Well,
you.
indeed.
You keeping
And
well?
today we're joined, I'm good, thank you, sorry. And today we're joined by a top rapper, not from music. We're talking vehicle raps today. And it's Paige Walton from the Vehicle Rapping Academy. Thanks for joining us, Paige. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me, and good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, Paige.
And as
It's
it's
very
last Friday of
nerve-wracking.
April already, we'll be all right. It's all good. As it's last Friday of April already, what are your plans for the weekend?
I've actually got the weekend off for once.
Nice.
For once. So, no, just staying at home. We are I say in the middle, nearing the end of workshop completion. So we will definitely spend the weekend in here, just pottering about, getting things in place. I'm currently in an empty room, so I feel like I'm echoey, but this should be filled nicely a little bit by the end of the weekend. So be busy
What are
in
you going to
here,
fill
but
it with?
well, this is going to be the print room area. So both mine and Dan's desks in here, and then this will be the main part will be the print room here. So we are heading down to Essex this afternoon. Got a few bits and pieces to do. Then we're going to load up the printers, the laminators, the cutters, and bring it up. So it's going to be much more filled. Quite exciting now because it's kind of nearing the end. This has been going on for months, so very exciting.
I was gonna say, how long has it been going on? What's the timeline
Well,
look like?
we moved into the property in August, but we didn't actually start the kind of renovation because this used to be just a carport, and then this room just used to be like a storage area because we're on an old farm. We used to be a farm, so lots of different outbuildings and bits and pieces. And the carport, what best to turn it into than the full workshop garage? So yeah, it's amazing, and because we've been doing it for so many years, and we've done a few different workshop renos over the past 15 years. So this is ours. This is the final one. We will never do it again. We know how to do it now, so we know, how to plan it and make it user friendly and make it to be exciting. So create an exciting, warm space as well to work in, because let's be honest, we spend most of our time at work, right?
Yeah.
Make it feel like a home, hence the nice chair, as everyone's nice comfortable chair. So when I'm sitting here, I'm comfortable. But yeah, it's very exciting. But yeah, probably since around about January that we started it. I think over Christmas we pittered and pottered about and started clearing some cobwebs away. But
It's
yeah,
so hard to do that, to do the move, to have a life and work as well, and still
Yeah.
pay the bills.
Yeah.
It's literally a juggling act, isn't it?
Yeah, running two businesses for myself, with the Vehicle Wrapping Academy. I'm so busy. I don't. People don't quite understand how busy I am until they're kind of with me, spend the day with me, and people are like, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "I actually don't know. I physically don't know." As well as trying to run the wrap shop, the print, and obviously it's me and Dan, so we're in it together. But I take the whole hog of the academy because it's all me, and then still trying to also run the wrap shop as well. And it's payroll. We've just mentioned it's the end of the month. I'm like, hold on, what? It's the end of the month. But, and because I'm in the middle of everything, it's, writing a list, my notepads are in several different places at the minute because they're between here, Essex, in the car, my work phone. Well, you should all know how much I lose my work phone and don't respond to anyone, because if I'm working away and I forgot my charger, so I've been working away for 10 days, been in Germany, forgot my work phone charger. Well, that's run out of battery, and I'm like, well, and then I lose it because I'll leave it in a door card or it will slide under the seat and I can't ring it, and I'm like, has anyone seen my work phone? It's been 10 days. I'm really, really bad for it, but I'm known for it, so everyone knows, don't ring the work phone. Don't message me on Instagram or any of these social media. The best way to get to me is to email me. People are like, well, I've got to email you. And I'm like, yeah, you've just got to email me, because that's the best way to get in contact for me, because it's the one thing that I'll look at. So
You two chaps, what are you up to this weekend? Start with you, Jack.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to have a quiet one as well. Actually, it's been really busy. I might go and take in a bit of football. Be hoping Palace don't get through to the final, because that would be very upsetting. Yeah, but no, just catching up on stuff. Going away next week, so I shall be getting prepared.
How about you, Matthew?
Ours is going to be a pretty chilled one as well. It's the last game of our football season for my under-9s tomorrow. And so that takes, I think it's like 11 o'clock kickoff, so it's 2 hours either side of that, really.
You playing up front?
Yeah, got to make sure we win. Score more some of those goals. Give the other team a chance, eh? And then obviously it's the semi-finals of the FA Cup as well. So yeah, probably football heavy related one, but quite a chilled one as well. What are you doing?
What am I doing? I am doing not much. I think we're going out for a walk. Me and Emma into Lee. Grab a coffee there and just walk back, get steps in. And yeah, not much else really. A nice quiet one for a change. Good.
Do you ever go to Sarah's Cafe?
No, I haven't been there actually.
Product placement.
And a bit of Essex chat going on there. It's the only way.
They're out on the caps available.
What?
No, I haven't been to Sarah's Cafe.
Oh, you need to.
Okay,
Go down Lee.
well,
Go down by the Peter boat. Walk
Yep.
down. And it's a dog-friendly cafe. That's why we love it. Or we did.
How close to each other are you guys?
Well, my workshop is Wickford, which is right next door to Andy in Basildon. And they're literally Basildon, this side of Wickford, and we're this side of Wickford, so we're literally close. And we've been using them for a long time. And I lived in Basildon all my life, born and bred. So we only moved up to Norfolk in August last year. So completely different way of life. So yeah.
Nice. Well, here's a chance for you to plug your company and let the listeners, viewers, and readers know a little bit more about the company and yourself. Over to you.
Let's go. Okay, so the Vehicle Wrapping Academy consists of, so I've got 3 sections. I'm an alternative provider of education for underprivileged children with special educational needs in Essex. I do my own training in respect, I run my own courses and I do a lot of one-to-one training, so very unique, very bespoke, very quality driven, proper training, hardcore on skill, nothing based on materials at all. Obviously we talk about materials heavily, but it is all based on skill with quality. And then I also work for Metamark, which is the other third of my business, so I get that manufacturing experience and meeting many other people within the industry. So it's obviously I had all of their training, so I do all of their training for automotive, so paint protection film and cast wrapping. Then they've also got their Mia training and tint training, but I'll just stick to automotive for the moment. Hopefully there may be an opportunity for the Mia and the architectural because I love doing it. But that is kind of the other third of my business. So they all kind of do different things, if you know what I mean. There's all different parts to it and all different feelings and emotions and lifestyles, to all of it. And as much as it's very hard and it's busy to manage the 3 different sections, I love doing it. So, and there's nothing that I want to, do.
Do you have a work phone for each section?
No. Can you imagine if I did? I think I would have a breakdown at that point, Matt. This is why it's just best to email me.
So for Metamark, you'll be doing sort of materials type trading. For your business, you're doing the actual skill of doing the wrapping itself. The other thing you said with children, is that wrapping or is that something completely different?
So I've created a whole schedule in itself. So it has to be based on getting a qualification at the end, which is something that our industry doesn't offer. So I've built my own qualification within education, so kids can walk out with a certificate to say that they've completed it. And within that, I've created lots of different parts of it. So obviously vehicle wrapping is heavily involved. It's, they wrap every single week, pretty much without fail. They do something to do with wrapping. I also include window tinting a lot because it's the polar opposite to wrapping. Some get that it better than they get wrapping, so with adults really, but it then brings another element into it, something else that they can learn. I have done a little bit of paint protection film with them as well. So again, automotive, but paint protection film is very, very expensive. So it's not something I can heavily work in because obviously of the cost. And then there's small bits and pieces, theory-based stuff that I involve. So there's a little bit on road safety because a lot of it's based on vehicles. So there's a bit of road safety, a bit of wheels and tires. They've painted brake calipers, they've painted wheels, they've rubbed wheels down, they've sanded down a car. So it then also pushes onto the customization side of things as well. So they've got, it's about finding an interest in the automotive world, but showing, but actually there's lots of different avenues that you can go down. We're talking about signage. They do some weeding out and some applicating and, putting on some small decals. They've even designed, printed and pressed their own t-shirts and their own hoodies, so they're all walking around in their own uniform if they like. So there's lots of it's showing that it's showing this side of the industry, but in many of different ways, from design to production to install on lots of different materials. So there's a lot involved in it.
And was there a lot of work to get that as an accreditation and a certification, or is it just more of Paige said I could do it, so look, I've got a piece of paper saying
no, it's full assessments. They have to go through assessments as well. So I've created and had them assessments passed off by a board and that deal in that, and I have to basically assess them. Yes, like tick boxes, yes, send pictures, and they have to show evidence. They have to show evidence that they can do it. I will look at that and say that's good, or that that needs improvement, that's bad. They will get passed or failed on that.
And how do we get those young people? Because I feel like it's a topic that we speak about pretty much every episode, and it's one that I speak with people all the time about. Like it's good that these things are happening, but how do you get to the young people?
I have a contract with my local authority, and they basically employ me to do that. So it's all done by local authority. But what a lot of people don't realise, because I get approached by a lot of people about it all around the country, but what I have done and what I've created is so unique. And I've been creating this for many years, which a lot of people won't know, that I've been working on this for 5 years. I missed the first tender by 3 days, so I had to wait another 18 months for that. And I've, across the 5-year span, have created all of these things that are required, and I'm now an alternative provider of education for Essex County Council, but it's all but from my own research, my own training. I'm safeguarded training up to my eyeballs, and some days I'm like, this is weird. It's like I'm a teacher but never went to university. But not only am I a teacher, I'm a governor to a school, because that's what we're classified to be, and the health and safety involved in having the children and the insurance and the qualification. You've got to be in some way the correct type of person to do the job, because you've got to be likable. I'm almost like down with the kids, if you know what I like. I've got a 14-year-old daughter myself, so I do feel like I am quite cool and down with the kids, if you like. And I keep telling myself that every single week, and I go in and they're like, Paige, stop trying to be cool. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry about that. It's a bit of a reality, but they really like me because I understand them, and that's the main thing. I understand the kids. I understand why they're there. Dan, my other half, we've been together for over 16 years, and he was one of those education access children that didn't get along in mainstream media, not because he had special educational needs, but because he just didn't get along in school. He didn't like the authority from the teachers. And guess what? There is that tenfold in this day and age. Kids don't want to listen to people. They don't think that anyone's above them. They think that they're above everyone else. So it's very different sector to be in. And then you have the special educational needs. You have to learn about all these amazing and wonderful traits that kids have that now have a label, that we have to treat them in a certain way, and they get more opportunities now, which is brilliant. But then you try and put all of them in a room together. That's very difficult to manage. Very difficult to manage. Hence why I don't answer my phone. Now you should be understanding why I can't get to my phone. But it is all done by the local authority. But Essex County Council are one of the main authorities to trial this style of education. So it isn't actually rolled out into many other authorities yet. Hence why it's very difficult.
And how many kids do you have on your books at any one time?
So at most, I have had 22. I am now only sitting at about 12 or 13 because I have some difficult children to manage. It can fluctuate. It all depends how much I can manage at one time. Obviously, it's not just me. I employ people to work alongside me because we have to have numbers. It's bodies, adults to children with these types of things. So you have to have a certain amount of people there. They all have to be safeguarded and ticked. And
what is the age group?
So at present, I have 13 to I did have a 17-year-old who's now just left because education is up until 18 now. So I offer between 13 and 18.
And you'd literally be responsible for them until they don't have to be in education?
No, until the provision ends with me for whatever reason that is. It could be a relationship breakdown between me and child. Let's say that child doesn't like the authority and I've put rules in place because, we deal with 650-degree heat guns and blades. Let me tell you, there's a lot of kids that like knives. Especially in the education access side of things. Risk assessments and safeguarding is very, very difficult. But it's until provision ends. I've had children with me for coming on to 2 years that will not do in any other setting and has not worked in any other setting. So they get along with me so much. So, they could stay with me up until they're 18. I have children that could be with me for a week because I've told them that they can't carry the blades around all the time and that's what they want to do. So they're like, well, I'm not coming back. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Have you had many that have come through what you've done and then gone into employment somewhere doing this work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Particularly my favourite one is that I actually employed him. And then I've now placed him into a job so January of 24, I placed him into a job. He was 18. He was going to go to prison for use of a bladed weapon, but it's about understanding the children, right? I understood and I see that he wasn't one of those children. It was out of self-defense because, I had a great relationship with him and having that conversation of I'm learning him, right? I'm having conversations with him and learning who he is, and I know that isn't in his mentality. So he's a very misunderstood kid because he's used a blade once for, self-defense, and then he's now the worst person in the world. So I worked with the youth offending team to kind of get him. He was enrolled in the course through education and got him to a point where he's actually pretty good at what he done. So we employed him when he left education. So he done work experience with us. Then I employed him to, weeding, app taping, fitting the signs, kind of building him up. He was learning how to rap. And then I got him in January 24. I placed him into a company in London who do all the taxi wraps, all the installation for black cabs. So he's working there still.
So your fourth job is a recruiter as well. I like it.
Oh my God, don't. Every week, without a shadow of a doubt, I am asked. I even got asked last month, company from Australia, are there any vehicle wrappers? Like, can you point us? Can you help us recruit? If I'm not being asked to, have you got any availability to go and install? Can you wrap this car or this lorry or whatever it may be? It's, do you know anyone? Have you got anyone? Have you got some numbers? I need to recruit. No, I'm not doing that part of the job. That's for you.
But it sounds like you're an advocate for these young people that they come through and you get to know them, and that's an incredible thing to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I love doing it, and that's why I do it. That's the part in my job role that fulfills my heart. It's that giving back part of it. And it's very hard work. I always say to people, the alternative provision part of my job role probably takes up the best part of, I would say, 5% of my work. So then the amount of work for myself and then for Metamark, trying to spread that load, and it's all very equal in terms of what I am doing. but it's a lot because it's a lot of paperwork, policies, you know, the amount of policies that you have to do this type of thing, and you have to understand every single one of them in and out from top to bottom, implement that into your business with no help. But it's rewarding. I love it. I love doing it.
So the print industry as a whole, we've found out, is kind of 70-30 men to women split. What's rapping like?
When I started, it was about 98% men to 2% of women, and that's not even a joke. It was very minimal. I think in the whole of the UK, when I started to rap, new people in America, I don't think I knew another female installer that raps. Now, I can talk signs and sign writing, i.e. Sam Armstrong on the sign side of things, but rapping in the UK, I don't think I knew anyone else. Now there are so many more females. There is a lot more females now coming through in every single one of my courses that I do, like my own courses based on quality. Most recently, probably I would say for 12 months of my own courses, I've had a female in every single one.
Okay, good.
And I celebrate that. And I say that, I stand there and I say, I'm not a feminist. I'm not here to knock anyone, but it is very, very nice to see women wanting to come through and learn how to rap, not sign writing or any production print, to rap, because it's a difficult skill and it's a very, very hard industry to stand on your own 2 feet in a very male dominated industry. Very judgmental. Very judgmental.
How do we balance that out, do you think? How do we get more women
accept that women are good at it. If men could be a little bit more nice, I've had some serious comments walking into jobs, and I've walked out and you think, how on earth did I keep my mouth shut? Now, let me tell you, I'm very, very well known for saying what I think. I won't go out of my way to say what I think, but if someone asks me, I'm a very, very honest person, and I always have been. So I'm very well known for that. But I've walked into some situations, and there's some women out there that are not strong enough. I'm not calling them weak by any means, but they're not. I've got a set of balls on me, and I'll go in there, and someone can say something, and I just think, yeah, I know exactly what it is. Usually, it's jealousy. 9 times out of 10, it's jealousy, and because I'm better than them at doing it or whatever. And there's a lot of women out there that I've spoken to, and I've had conversations with on the phone that just can't walk into that situation for whatever reason. So they go, that's not for me. So if we can be a little bit more accepted that actually females have much better eye for attention, eye for detail and attention to detail, that's just true. Like, I don't care what anyone says, women are just got that little bit more, I don't know, time, patience, effort, finesse than men. That's why we're good at what we do. But it's just being a bit more welcoming and being able to show that women can do it. And I think that's what I've been a big part of just standing there and saying, well, actually you can do it, and have the confidence to do it. And I think it's when there's a trainer who is a woman, a woman wants to go to a woman to be trained, right? Because we build confidence in each other. So I'm proud to be a part of that.
2 people very similar, Jade and Rosie from Fusion. They are on it 100%, fantastic advocates of it and driving and leading by example.
What do you think the general standard is like out there for UK vehicle wrappers?
There's a lot of people that think they can do it and can't.
Mm-hmm.
There are some seriously good installers in the UK. The standard is so difficult, and it's so difficult to manage because there's this like north and south divide, on cost for one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not many good companies out there that stand by quality. They just need to get the job done to put money in their pocket. And I see it from both sides, because the ever rising costs, material costs, they're absolutely extortionate in comparison to what they were 15 years ago. everything, down to the price of your inks, and there's always new technology
Whoa,
coming out
let's not start on the inks.
no. Andy, you are very, very good to us. I'm just talking, but in general, all of these little
Yeah.
things, electric, staff wages, and there's all of these things go into it, and it's difficult. So people cut quality to stick to cost, and we see such a mixed bag. You've either got someone who's really, really good, but they're just a small one-man band company who are known for their quality, and absolutely, I would absolutely 10 times over say to people and recommend him. And then you've got people who just churning out the work, and the things that we see, it's like,
So what are the differences between that kind of bottom end and the top end rappers? What are they doing differently in there? Is it in materials, skills, the printer?
it generally comes down to cost of material. So, and I get this from working with Metamark. So I will walk in as someone who works for Metamark in there to train them, and they're always trying to cut costs. So it's instead of using, and I'm going to talk reference for Metamark's products at the minute, just for reference, maybe for you guys and anyone listening. So, I might go into a company that are wrapping vans, but they're a sign company, but deal with the commercial side of things. So they're wrapping vans, but they don't want to purchase MDC, which is their premium cast printable that will hold into deep recesses of a brand new Transit Custom that, when we've got a recess like this on the back, you can't be using any other materials for. Because it's too expensive, so they're trying to cut costs, and they're going for a lower grade material, and they're going, well, it's fouled, and why is that? It's your materials. No, it's not. It's what you're using is incorrect. Or they're a sign fitter who's been fitting signs or flat panels they might have been doing that for 30 years, and wrapping is now quite a new thing, and they think that they can still install that material in that same correct method into that recess, and it's like, it doesn't work like that. No. So it's a mixture of materials and costs. It's a mix of actually skills in itself, because wrapping is, let's be honest, it's not an old thing. It hasn't been going on for years. So much changes, technology advances, new materials come out. 3M and Avery and Arlon have a flight technology or a control tack, and Metamark have their Glide now, which is a different air release system to a flat adhesive system, but that's only been around for 10 years, and not many people know how to use it if they've been installing for 30 years. And there's a lot of different things that mix into that. That is my full training talk there that will come into that, and I could talk for hours about that. But we'll keep this short. But it is a mix.
Something I wanted to ask, all the exhibitions seem to have one of these, what they call rap battles, or, where everyone goes head. Are they actually an indicator of whether anyone's any good or not? Because they're just sort of doing it on one panel.
Yeah, so they base that on time, so speed and quality. One day we can be like the best rapper in the world, and the next day you could have a really bad day and be quite bad at what you do. And
form is temporary.
Yeah, it really is. So those things are under pressure. I've done quite a few competitions. It's how I know so many people worldwide. So I know a lot of people, a lot of the American installers. I'm actually quite good friends with them. We chat, and we're actually planning on going out there and visiting some of them soon. So that's how competitions are really good, but it's not a real true indication of what goes on in the workshop.
It's great for your networking.
It's great for networking.
Building yourself.
Really, really good for networking. Yeah.
It's good fun to watch as well.
And what kind of mistakes can vehicle wrappers make when that undermine a wrap when it's on the vehicle?
Oh, Christ. Shape is one thing. You've got to look in that, and we see on social media these days, it's one piece mirror, I'm amazing, I'm the best thing in the world. The reality of that is, how long is that going to last? With wrapping, you can wrap a shape of product, I don't know, whatever you want to wrap, and it can look great for the picture, like great when I give it to the customer, but ultimately, how long is that going to last? And that can start to fail over a period of time. We can see things failing after, let's say it got wrapped in the winter, and we get to the hottest day of the year in July or August, we can see things bang, pop in. People, going back to the one piece mirror, it's better to have a two piece, perfect, flawless, 2.5 mil overlap, and be able to offer that to the customer. will pay the right money for that, if it's not going to fail, if it's going to last the time that they want. So it's, lots of different things. Again, there's conversations and topics for every single topic that we're going to talk about that kind of all interlink together. But training is really important in that. Really, really important.
Yeah, with training, Matt, is that something you see on CVs that they've gone to specific academies and companies for training, or is it more experience that you kind of look at?
Yeah, there's not enough of it on people's CVs. I think they need to make a much more of a song and dance about it if they do. And I don't know whether that's down to them not believing that, or not thinking about the value that would look like on a CV, perhaps. But kind of common sense says, look, if you've got an accreditation or you've done this training course, then you're going to be pretty good, aren't you? But there's not enough of it on people's CVs. So if you do have it, then you should definitely put it on. But yeah, from my side of things, it's experience as well. I think knowledge, wisdom, and just having that intuition of, oh shit, I've never seen this before, and but I've done something similar to this, then let's try that way. And I just think it's the common sense and the logical approach that people have from experience of doing it for such a long time that you can't put value on, because it's priceless.
To add on to that comment, Matt, in the UK, we don't see a certification of being any bit of beneficial or value at all, because there's not enough brands, or no, I don't know. It's a brand fight, isn't it? You know, you can become a 3M AVW and get a certificate. That's pass and fail, but there's many other brands that don't do a pass and a fail, so that you get a certificate to say, you know, I do it for Metamark, certificate to say you've attended. It doesn't mean that you can wrap. So if someone walks into me in my company and says, I want a job, I've done every single brand of course, you know, I've been on it, but they've only got a certificate of attendance. Actually, that means nothing, because I might go and put them on a £250,000 Lamborghini to wrap and go, oh my God, what have I done? But in the States, they are all about certificates. They all have every single brand of certificate under their belt. You know, they all scream and shout about it. They're not all loyal to one company. They all use and work with multiple different brands. And as much as I work for Metamark and I'll scream from the rooftops how amazing they are with so many different things, you still have to be open to work and know how to work with every single brand of material, because it's your customer's choice of what they want. Are you going to lose a job because you put down the 3M swatch but they wanted to buy Avery? You know, we're not going to do that, because the skill set is the same, slight adjustments on adhesive and materials, and you just have to know that by experience. So that's a good topic of conversation, because I really believe in that. So.
And then from a candidate's perspective as well, let's say they're going for an interview at someone that's a 3M Gold accredited partner or whatever. And that doesn't really have that much weight from their side of things either. Like it's just a nice shiny badge in most cases. So not until you give them a trial or go, right, go on then, wrap that, do you truly see what people's capabilities are.
Yep, completely agree. Massively.
Is there still value in going to more training? If you had a training session 10 years ago, is it worth going to another training session now, because have things changed that much in 10 years, and they can learn more?
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Things change, technology changes, everyone's trying to create all of these weird and wonderful stuff, and absolutely I will. And it's one of the reasons why I still like to install. Yes, I don't install as much as I used to. Of course I don't, because I train, but I still like to install, because I go, this Oracle, they've updated their Rapid Air a little bit, and this feels way loads better. This is cool. I then take that information back into my training, and I say to people, okay, cool, they've just updated this. This is feeling a little less tackier, and the airflow's easier, and it's got more flexibility to it. 3M with their IJ 180 and their 280, and depths of recesses. You have to keep up to date on materials without a shadow of a doubt. And people that don't believe that they should will always be left behind.
Yeah, I mean, would you say materials now compared to 10 years ago is almost no comparison, or are they still fairly similar with little tweaks?
Fairly similar with little tweaks. They might say that they're big. Some brands more than others, But ultimately, the skill in material as a vehicle wrapper, the foundational skills are still there. That they will never change. You just have to adapt those skills.
I get approached quite a lot on my emails and LinkedIn and those kind of things about buying media cast vinyl in particular from the Far East. Hasn't gone through the same accreditations and maybe testing as the European brands, for example. What's the danger of going to those kind of brands in the Far East or cheaper brands, should we say,
So let's
against
be
more
honest,
expensive?
with materials, all of the raw products come from relatively the same few parts of the world. It's that mixture. It's the chef when he puts it all together, when he adds his salt and his pepper and his herbs and whatever he's adding. That's the difference, and that comes from a proper manufacturer. So I tend, I don't. Again, I come across all of these brands and people. I've seen a recent company installer like me made my own brand, and I'm like, it's just the same as everyone else, but it's never going to be right because you've gone for something different. But for what you want, I don't want to name names, or I'm not about that. I'd rather keep my mouth shut and not talk about it and just not use the product and not recommend it. I hate going around talking negative about anyone, so I won't talk any names. But it's all about the product and that brand above the warehouse or the manufacturing facility. They know what they're doing, and they have got the money to do their research and development, to take time on creating something. I know that Metamark was, with their automotive product, with their MCX, which is their single color change cast, that was in research and development for years before that product come out, and people then put products on the market because they come direct from the factory in China, whatever that may be. It's not the same product. It's not. They put the raw products together, but the brand makes it what it is, even better.
The ingredients are the same, but the recipe's slightly different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great analogy. I love that.
Nick that from someone else, that one. And kind of lastly, what separates your rap training from ABC rap training, for example?
My main focus is skill and quality. That is what devalues our industry. And it's going back to the standards conversation before. If, let's say, Joe Bloggs wraps a car, customer is gone to Tesco's, and that car's parked in Tesco's, how many people are going to walk past that car in Tesco's? It could be hundreds, it could be thousands. In cities, it could be tens of thousands of people. If Joe Bloggs has wrapped that car and it's failing under the lights, on the front bumper, in the handles, on the mirrors, all over, and it looks at complete and utterly poor effort, anyone that sees that in the car park might look at that and go, oh, I've heard about a wrap. Is that's I would never do that. That completely devalues our industry because we're not getting new customers. I would never pay for that. I'd only pay 500 quid for that. Well, actually, £500 doesn't even cover the materials. So it completely devalues our industry. So it's very, very important that we keep up with everything. People need to be researching for good installers and not looking at photos on their phone or Instagram and, how we have always done our wrap shop. It's always, everything is word of mouth. We've never advertised. Yeah, we've got a website. All of our customers will come down off the back of the website and look what's in our workshop and look at our own cars and look what our staff's cars and, all of that. And training is important, and quality training is important when we're looking at the fundamentals and the foundational skills. We're not looking at the colour that's on the car, or he's been a sign fitter Signs Express for 15 years. My training is different because I get to the bottom. I start at the bottom and I work up to the top, and it's what I've done and it's why I'm good at it. It's from experience. I know so many different parts of the industry. I know how to run a business. I know how to market it. I don't just teach the skill. I teach every single part of it, and I don't gatekeep nothing. There are so many people out there that train that gatekeep, and I don't.
If you hire an experienced rapper for argument's sake, would you just assume that they don't know what you would like them to know and just start from the ground and foundations and go all the way up, or how would you incorporate that if you had someone experienced?
So if I've got, in all fairness, whenever I've employed, I've only employed off of the back of knowing their skill set. But let me tell you that there has been people that I have employed that have said, I can do all of it. I've made mistakes. I think that's what I'm trying to say, and they can't do it. And I've gone, oh my God, what on earth have we done here? But it's all a part of growing, right? We all make mistakes and we all learn from that. And from that happened to someone, and I was like, oh, what a mistake have I made? Because this one is going to cost me a lot of money. That's all we're thinking of. That's the main thing that we're always thinking of there. You're costing me now a lot of money because I'm paying you good money, and you can't do what you said that you could do to my standards. And then it's going to start costing me a lot of time because my customers are going to keep coming back, and I'm going to have to keep getting this rectified. So from when that happened, we started on anyone's interviews, actually getting them into rap, whether that's in the training academy or whether that's do that, spend a day with us.
Take a day's holiday, come in for a trial.
Yeah. And then I'll see if I employ, and I have said no to people. And I've had, but that's, and people go, oh, you're the worst. Oh, I hate you. You're horrible. Oh my God. And go around talking and going, I took a day off all for this trial and they didn't even employ me. No, it's because you wasn't good enough. And I'm really sorry about that, but I have to think about my business and I have to think about myself, and you just wasn't good enough for it. So I've upset people along the way.
Yeah, but you can ask someone as many questions as you want. You can get as many references as you want. But until they're in your building and seeing the level that you operate at versus what they think they can do, until they're actually rapping something, you're never going to know. So yeah. I'm actually saving you loads of time rather than kind of leaving where you are, coming here and 2 weeks later and going, oh shit, I'm actually nowhere near what I thought I should have been.
And materials can, fail after 4, 6, 8 weeks as well. So we can be employing them for a month and go, yeah, they're smashed through the work, done it really quickly, looks to great standard, and not realise that actually, because I haven't been looking over their shoulder and watching every single solitary tiny little move that they make with that bit of vinyl, that can fail after 4 weeks. And I've now got 4 weeks worth of failures that I know I'm going to get phone calls for. And guess who's got to pick up those pieces?
Yeah.
Me and Dan.
Because they won't be employed anymore.
Because they won't be employed no more. It's such a difficult industry, and I have this conversation. I always get everyone that comes to me for training. I will always ask that question of employment, of going, well, can I do work experience here? No. 1, I haven't got enough for everyone. 2, I haven't got enough eyes to look over everyone. And 3, I don't want that anymore. I've done it, and no, I'm not doing it no more. That's a really difficult life, that is.
If you spread yourself too thin like that, then your quality and your kind of expectations dip, right? Because
absolutely. And we have had these peaks and troughs throughout our business because we've made these mistakes, but rapping is such a new thing in the whole world that there is an industry, I suppose with recruitment has been recruitment for many years, I suppose. And even down to, in the print industry, that's been print for many, many years. But the skill of rapping it is a practical task. And not only do you need to know how to do it, you need to have experience and time, but you need to know about the materials, cars, stripping and fitting cars down. I get people come in and go, so are you teaching me how to strip and fit a car? And I'm like, no. I can advise you and say this is the 90% of vehicles, this is how you take a door handle out, but you'll still come across 10% of those vehicles where it won't be like that. This course has got to be 4 months long for me to teach you everything because it comes off of experience. So it's difficult. It's a very difficult industry to employ in as well.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to ask the relationship between particularly with graphics, between the rappers and the designers. Because I've seen some amazing raps. I think that's some heavy design gone into that. But they've got to know what's physically possible. Do you work closely with designers to help them design properly? Or do they join your courses?
We employed a graphic designer that worked alongside us. And when I say worked alongside us, worked alongside installers. So, and he's a very, very good graphic designer. We don't employ him anymore, unfortunately, but very, very good graphic designer because he learned to work alongside the installers. And it's now one of the only reasons why we've tried to employ other graphic designers, but Dan does all of the design now because one, he can do it, and two, he can install. So what's better than getting a graphic designer that can install because they can understand it? But let me tell you, I have been on jobs, whether I've been a subcontractor or, we don't take on other people's materials anymore. But in previously, when we've said, yeah, we will do, there is a huge gap between the designer and the installer and communication. And I've even been into some companies to train for Metamark, and the graphic designer that sits upstairs don't talk to the installer that's installing downstairs. And I'm going, you two need to be having a conversation here, because what you've got here isn't going to work, and your customer isn't going to be happy because of that. You need to start talking to each other. Very great question, and it's something that more graphic designers need to do, is go downstairs and talk to installers.
Or join the course.
Or join the
Get a
course.
basic understanding.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we'll move on to the mystery question, which isn't too difficult. And this is from Jali and Gareth from HF, who are on our last podcast. They said, what do you see as your biggest challenge as an employer in 2025?
That's a pretty bad question for me, really, because since we've moved to Norfolk, we've decided that we won't be employing no more. Because the biggest challenge in employment is the fact that people think that they can do it and they can't. With installers, with vehicle wrappers particularly, they think they can do it and they cannot do it. And it's one of the reasons why, we used to have a very large facility. There used to be 13 of us working there. So under me and Dan, there was 11 people that we employed. We had graphic designers in the office. We had an account manager who dealt with invoicing and customer service and all that bits and pieces. We had installers in the wrap bays and people washing cars, and we had all of that. But you're always let down by the installer. Always let down by the installer, because when it comes to 5 o'clock, they're dropping tools and they're out of here. And the younger generation, that's even worse. That is even worse. And going back to me with my kids and the alternative provision, that's one thing that I teach them, that the hard work, you've got to put hard work in if this is what you want to do. And the generation now, and that scares me, because those are the people that we're looking to employ, but they have a completely different work ethic, and they come 5 o'clock, ding, drop tools, gone. And it's like, you can't leave half a panel wrapped there. Why didn't you think, okay, I'm not going to get this panel installed on time. Instead of doing that, I will go and clean up, empty the bins, sweep the floor, hoover the floor, because, we need to work in a clean environment, put everything back properly. But they don't even do that, because they're like, well, it's not my job. I'm here to wrap. I'm not here to clean up the office or, help put that delivery upstairs. And so we actually decided that we would no longer be employing. So we are finished. We are done. It's a lot less stressful being just us two. And we have got people that work for us in Essex. It will be no more. Now we won't be doing no more. But we earn more money. It's less stressful. It's just much easier just doing it as just us, because you can't clone yourself, right? You can't double yourself. You can't, and it's us that sets the standards, and it's us that creates that and make it happen, really. So
you have that in recruitment as well, as in I own my own recruitment business, obviously, and it's just, I've done it for 15 years as well. So the amount of people that I know and the kind of shortcuts that I would go through, and just the knowledge that I have of how to find people, and I've tried to grow and develop the business, and it's just, you just expect people to know what you know. And even though I know that they don't know what I know, I still expect them to know what I know and be up to speed so much quicker than it actually is. And sometimes it's just easier just to go, you know what, I'll do less, but I'll do more, just at my own pace, in my own style. And that was the whole kind of motivation of setting up on my own as well, to do it my way. I'm 4 years in now, and like I say, we tried to grow, but I'm now at the point where I don't need to. I enjoy doing it the way that I want to do it, to my standards. So I totally get that, Paige. I do.
I'm pleased that you've said that as well, Matt, because sometimes I just think I'm on my own, and it's not, you have to
Well,
cut
you
your
are
pride.
now.
So, well, yeah, technically I am, but with having that thought, because I say we tried to grow the business, that doesn't make me feel very good, because we grew the business to be quite a big business, and it was a great business, but a lot changed for us within that growth that didn't sit right, because a lot of people say to me, I get not angry quite quick, but everyone will say that I get angry quite quick, but it actually comes from passion.
Hmm.
And we are the worst people to think that everyone can do it like us. We're like, but why can't you do it? Because if we can do it, then you can do it. But actually accepting the fact that not everyone is like that.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear that it's not just me, because I always put myself down and think that I failed, because, that's how people see me,
Mm.
because I don't know, I feel like I failed sometimes, when actually I've not. I'm winning because I've got all this experience. I would never make them same mistakes again, and I know that it will be this next chapter of our lives, moving up here and creating this workshop that's ours, and I ain't got someone knocking on my door for rent and da 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 da, like that. This is it for us now. We've made it, because we know it's got to be easy from here. Come on. That's what I keep telling myself, it has to be.
But just to be agile enough to and appreciate that things might change again. But if you and just be open minded enough to go, you know what, actually we've got to this level. Let's try it again and go again. And my kids are 10, 8, and 4. And I've always said, like, I've set up this business to be present and enjoy that kind of journey. And I'm not saying in 5 years' time, if like one of my best competitors comes and knocks on the doors and goes, "Oh, can we do it together?" I'm going to say yes. But
Times
right
change,
now,
right? Yeah.
oh, of course, absolutely, and people change as well. So yeah, don't give yourself too much of an hard time on that.
No, thank you. That's
What about you,
good.
Jack? What do you think are the biggest challenges for employers?
I mean, I've been running my business a bit like Matt. I started my business to be more present at home in the family, and I'm still doing it now, maybe 30 years later. Um, I've always worked on the basis if I'm going to employ somebody, they've got to be better at whatever I'm employing them to do than I am. And that's a philosophy that's kind of worked. So, Debbie's fantastic at running PR campaigns. So she kind of runs them, and I do the bits that I'm good at, and it works well. Laura's fantastic at social media and all that stuff. And that way you just kind of, that you can rely on them much more than you can rely on yourself to do something. But if what you do, what you do well, if you can't find somebody that does that bit the way you'd like to, you're going to be in the issue that you guys have had, which is frustrating, really, because you kind of want them to do it, and it's not fair on them either, because they're probably much better at something else. So it's about finding what that thing is, and I think that as a small business, that's definitely the way. I mean, it's worked well for me over the years.
Very good advice.
Fantastic.
It's a bit like the podcast as well, isn't it? Like we all have, like as the three of us, we all have different skills and like contribute to this kind of quite differently and as well. So if we were to kind of grow, then that's really sound advice, that, Jack.
There you go.
The
There we
wise
go.
old owl.
Seems,
What about you, Andy?
for me, I suppose the biggest challenge is continuing to pay what we think, my staff might say something slightly different, but continuing to pay decent wages,
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to balance that with profit levels, with national insurance contributions going up, all those kind of things. So that's going up, where payments are going up as well, and just trying to maintain that gap in between, really. And it's difficult, but we're confident in the products that we sell, and got a good base of customers, so just continue to get our name out there and hope the sales come through, really. So that's just maintaining a good balance of between profit and paying our staff well.
Well, you still be getting business from me. You'll just have to ship it up to me now.
That's all right. That's okay.
You're clearly doing
Thank you very
something right,
much.
aren't you? So
That seems a good location to wrap it up. Paige, thank you very much for
No, thank you
joining
so
us
much
today.
for
We
having
appreciate
me.
it. That's been
It's
great.
been a pleasure. Chocolate, do you want to come and see everyone? Say hello. Say hello. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Paige, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah,
You're very
brilliant.
welcome.
Thanks, Paige.
Thank
Take
you
care
so
and best of
much.
luck with the full move.
Thank you. Good luck everyone else as well for whatever you do, and I look forward to listening.